My wife said, "I'm giving you one last chance to be the husband I deserve." After years of her complaining, I replied, "Thank you for that." Then I handed her divorce papers I'd had ready for months. I, 41 male, have been married to my wife for 11 years, together for 14 total. 2 kids, 9 and 7, who are the only reason I stayed as long as I did. Let me paint you a picture of my marriage for the last 6 years. Nothing I did was ever good enough. Ever. I could work a 12-hour day, come home, cook dinner, help with homework, do bath time, and still get criticized for not loading the dishwasher the right way. I could plan a vacation and hear for 3 weeks afterward about how the hotel wasn't nice enough or the restaurant I picked was mediocre at best. My wife didn't work, hadn't worked since our first kid was born. That was her choice, and I supported it fully. I make good money as a project manager, around $140K annually. Comfortable. Not rich, but comfortable. We have a nice house, 2 decent cars, kids in good schools. But according to her, I was failing. Constantly. You don't make me feel special anymore. You never plan romantic dates. Other husbands buy their wives nicer things. I feel like a single mom even though you're here. You're not the man I married. That last one got thrown at me probably twice a month for the last 4 years. Usually after I did something wrong, like suggesting we stick to a budget or asking if she really needed another $200 purse. Her friends all had husbands who were apparently perfect. Buying jewelry constantly, taking them on European vacations, making 6 figures while also being home by 5 p.m. every day. I learned to just nod and tune it out. The breaking point wasn't one big thing. It was the accumulation. About 8 months ago, I came home after a brutal week at work. Major project deadline, 60-hour week minimum. Friday night, I was exhausted. Kids were already in bed. I walked in, dropped my bag, and said, "Hey, rough week. Mind if I just decompress for a bit?" She was sitting on the couch watching some reality show. Didn't even look up. Must be nice to decompress. I've been with the kids all week. When do I get to decompress? I didn't respond, just went to take a shower. When I came out, she was waiting, arms crossed. That look on her face I'd seen 1,000 times. "We need to talk about our marriage." "Okay." "I'm not happy. I haven't been happy for years, and honestly, I don't think you even care." "I care." "Do you?" "Because it doesn't feel like it. I feel invisible, unappreciated, like I'm just the maid and nanny while you get to have a career and a life." I stood there, towel around my waist, water dripping on the floor, and something in me just shifted. I'd heard versions of this speech probably 50 times. Always my fault. Always something I needed to fix. Always me falling short of some invisible standard she'd set. "What do you want me to do?" I asked. Genuinely. "Be better. Be the husband I deserve." That phrase. The husband I deserve. Like she was owed something I wasn't providing. Like the 11 years of working, supporting, compromising, and trying weren't enough. "Okay," I said. "I'll try." She seemed satisfied with that. Went back to her show. I went to bed. And the next morning I called a divorce attorney, not impulsively. I'd been thinking about it for over a year. That night just confirmed what I already knew. This was never going to get better. I could become a billionaire who worked from home and wrote her love poems daily, and it still wouldn't be enough. The goalposts would always move. The attorney, a woman my buddy recommended, was straightforward. "What are your goals here?" "Fair custody, fair asset split. I don't want to destroy her. We have kids. I just want out." She nodded. "That's actually refreshing. Most people come in here wanting blood. I just want peace." We spent the next several months preparing, documenting finances, establishing patterns, getting everything in order so that when I filed, it would be clean and organized. The papers were finalized 3 months ago, sitting in my desk drawer at work, waiting. I wasn't sure when I'd use them. Part of me kept hoping maybe things would change. Stupid, I know. But 11 years doesn't just shut off overnight. Then last Tuesday happened. We'd had a relatively calm few weeks. I'd been working hard, she'd been doing her thing. Kids were good. Life was tolerable. I came home at 6:30 p.m., which is early for me. Thought maybe we could have a nice family dinner. I'd even picked up flowers on the way home, just grocery store flowers, nothing fancy, but still. My wife was sitting at the kitchen table. No kids in sight. They were at her sister's, apparently. The table was clear except for a single piece of paper. She'd written out a list, I kid you not, a numbered list of things that need to change. 1. More quality time, minimum 2 date nights per month. 2. More appreciation, verbal and gifts. 3. Help more with kids' activities. 4. Make me feel desired. 5. No more work excuses. 6. Marriage counseling. 7. Better communication. I read through it while she watched me. I've been thinking about this for a while, she said. I'm giving you one last chance to be the husband I deserve. These are my conditions. You can either agree to them and we work on our marriage, or... She let it hang. Or what? Or I don't know if this marriage can continue. I looked at the list again, then at her. She had this expression like she was doing me a favor, like she was being generous by giving me an opportunity to meet her standards. Thank you for that, I said. She smiled. Actually smiled. Thought she'd won. I appreciate you being clear about what you want. I knew you'd understand eventually. I've been patient, but... Hold on. I held up my hand. Let me get something. I went to my home office, unlocked the filing cabinet, pulled out the envelope I'd brought home from work the day before, knowing this conversation was coming. She'd been building up to it for weeks, walked back to the kitchen, set the envelope on the table in front of her. What's this? Divorce papers. The color drained from her face. She actually laughed at first. Very funny. I'm not joking. I've had these ready for 3 months. I was waiting to see if things would change. They haven't. She opened the envelope, saw my attorney's letterhead, saw the petition, saw the proposed custody arrangement and asset division. You can't be serious. I am. Because of a list? I make a list of reasonable requests, and you respond with divorce? It's not about the list. It's about the last 6 years. It's about never being good enough no matter what I do. It's about being told I'm failing as a husband by someone who I've supported, worked for, tried for, and it's never enough. I was trying to save our marriage. No, you were trying to get me to agree to your terms under threat of divorce, so I'm accepting the divorce. I'm just doing it on my terms instead of waiting for you to file when it's convenient for you. She started crying. I expected that. This is insane. Over 11 years and 2 kids, you're just going to throw it away? I've spent 6 years being told I'm not enough. I'm tired. I'm done. We can work on it. The list was just a starting point. The list was an ultimatum, and I'm responding to it. She grabbed the papers, threw them across the room. I'm not signing anything. You don't have to. Not yet. But this is happening. I've already filed. You'll be officially served by the end of the week if you don't accept these copies. The screaming started after that. Called me every name you can imagine. Said I was abandoning my kids. Said I was a coward. Said she'd take everything I had. I let her get it out. Then I said, I'm going to pick up the kids from your sisters. I'll be back in an hour. We can discuss logistics when I get back. Walked out. Drove to her sisters. Got the kids. Told them nothing. They didn't need to be involved in adult stuff yet. When I got home, she was gone. Texted me later that she was staying at her mother's until you come to your senses. I texted back, I'll have the kids ready for you to pick up at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Let's keep this civil for their sake. She didn't respond. That was 5 days ago. Things have gotten complicated since then. Update 1, 1 week later. Holy crap. I didn't expect this to blow up like it did. Thanks for the support in the comments. And yeah, to the people saying I'm a monster for divorcing a stay-at-home mom who sacrificed her career, please spare me. She chose not to work. I supported that choice. That doesn't make me her indentured servant for life. Okay, so here's what happened this week. Day after the papers. My wife showed up with her mother to talk sense into me. Her mother's been problematic our entire marriage, always supporting her daughter's complaints, always suggesting I wasn't doing enough. They sat me down in my own living room like it was an intervention. Her mother started, "I don't know what's gotten into you, but this isn't how marriage works. You don't just give up because things are hard. With respect, this isn't your business. It is my business when you're destroying my daughter's life and my grandchildren's stability. I'm not destroying anything. I'm ending a marriage that hasn't been working for years." My wife jumped in. "You never even gave us a chance. One list and you go nuclear. One list after 6 years of lists. 6 years of never being good enough. 6 years of being told I'm failing." Her mother, "Oh, please. Every wife has complaints. You think my husband was perfect? You work through it. And how's your marriage doing?" Low blow. Her parents have been miserable for decades. Everyone knows it. Her mother's face went red. "That's different." "Is it?" My wife stood up. "This is pointless. He's made up his mind. Fine. But I'm telling you right now, I'm getting the house, I'm getting the kids, and you're going to pay through the nose for this." I stayed calm. "That's not how the law works, but you're welcome to try. We'll see what a judge says when he hears how you abandoned your family." "I didn't abandon anyone. I filed for divorce. There's a difference." They left after more yelling. My wife took the kids without asking, just loaded them in her mother's car while her mom was inside screaming at me. I called my lawyer immediately. "She can't just take the kids." My lawyer, "She can actually, unless there's a custody order. Right now, you're both parents. Neither of you have more rights than the other. So what do I do?" "We file for emergency temporary custody. Given that she left the marital home and took the children to her mother's without prior agreement, we have grounds to argue you should have equal access immediately." Filed that afternoon. By Thursday, we had a hearing scheduled for the following week. My wife, through her lawyer, she'd gotten one fast, was demanding exclusive use of the marital home, primary custody of the children, temporary spousal support of $4,500 a month, child support on top of that. Her argument, I blindsided her with divorce papers after she tried to work on the marriage, and she was a stay-at-home mom with no income who needed support to maintain the children's standard of living. My lawyer's counter, she voluntarily left the home. I've been the primary breadwinner and am equally capable of caring for the children. Spousal support should be calculated based on actual need, not maintaining an inflated lifestyle. Proposed 50-50 custody. Here's where the dirty tricks started. Friday morning, I got a call from my company's HR department. "We received an anonymous complaint about you. Something about potential misconduct and misuse of company resources." My stomach dropped. "What kind of misconduct?" "We can't disclose details at this stage. We'll need to do an investigation. Standard procedure." I called my lawyer. She wasn't surprised. "Classic tactic. She's trying to threaten your income. Don't panic. If there's nothing there, there's nothing there. Document everything." Turns out the complaint was vague accusations about me using work time for personal matters, the divorce stuff, presumably, and creating a hostile environment for unnamed colleagues. Complete fabrication. My boss, thankfully, knows me well. Called me into his office Monday. "Look, I have to investigate this officially, but between us this timing seems suspicious given what you mentioned about your divorce. Is there any chance this is related?" "Almost certainly." "That's what I figured. Just keep doing your job. This will blow over." It did. Investigation found nothing because there was nothing to find, but it cost me a week of anxiety and looking over my shoulder. Then came the financial moves. She'd apparently been talking to her lawyer about protecting assets. Translation, she withdrew $8,000 from our savings account, money we'd been setting aside for the kids' activities and emergencies. I found out when my card was declined at the gas station. Called the bank. "Your wife made a withdrawal this morning. Can I freeze the account? Both names are on it, so either party can withdraw, but I can note that you're disputing further withdrawals." Called my lawyer. She drafted an emergency motion for asset freeze. Judge was not happy with my wife's move. Ordered all marital assets frozen pending final division. She had to return $6,000 of the $8,000. She'd already spent $2,000 on attorney retainer and living expenses at her mother's. But the best part, the thing that actually made me laugh, was what happened at our first mediation session. Her lawyer presented her case. Poor, abandoned wife, stay-at-home mother, no income, no prospects, gave up her career for the family, husband suddenly divorcing her with no warning. My lawyer presented mine. Lengthy pattern of emotional criticism, documentation of years of complaints. I'd kept a journal for the last 2 years on my therapist's advice, never thought I'd need it legally. Evidence of an unreasonable ultimatum that triggered the filing. Then my wife's lawyer said something that changed everything. My client is willing to consider reconciliation if Mr. and my last name agrees to couples counseling and a 90-day delay in proceedings. The mediator looked at me. Would you consider that? No. My wife. Why not? You won't even try? I've been trying for 6 years. I'm done trying. Her lawyer tried another angle. My client feels blindsided. Perhaps if there was more communication. Your client gave me a list of demands and threatened divorce if I didn't comply. I complied with the divorce part. Communication seems clear to me. My wife lost it. In the mediation room, started yelling about how I was impossible and always had to win and never listened to her feelings. The mediator, a woman in her 60s who'd probably seen everything, let her vent for a minute, then said very calmly, "Ma'am, mediation works when both parties are willing to negotiate in good faith. Do you want to continue?" My wife stormed out. Her lawyer followed, looking exhausted. My lawyer turned to me afterward. That actually helped us. Shows a pattern of reactivity and unwillingness to compromise. Great, so what now? Now we wait for the hearing. Update 2, 3 weeks later. Okay, this one's going to be long because a lot happened. The temporary custody hearing was a disaster for her. Her lawyer came in swinging. My wife was the primary caregiver, stay-at-home mom for 9 years, children's primary attachment figure. I worked long hours and wasn't as involved in daily care. Traditional arrangement should continue. My lawyer countered, when I was home, I was highly involved. Bath time, bedtime, homework help, weekend activities, all documented. My schedule was flexible enough to adjust for custody. Her living situation, mother's house, 1 spare bedroom for both kids, was less stable than the marital home. But here's where my wife made her biggest mistake. During her testimony, the judge asked, "What are your plans for employment going forward?" She said, and I quote, "I don't think it's fair to expect me to work after nearly a decade of raising children. That's why I need adequate support." The judge raised an eyebrow. "You have a college degree, correct?" "Yes, but..." "And the children are now 9 and 7, both in school full-time." "Yes, but finding work after being out for so long..." "Ma'am, I'm not suggesting you need to find work immediately. But the expectation in modern divorce proceedings is that both parties work toward self-sufficiency. Spousal support is rehabilitative, not permanent in cases like this. Her lawyer tried to recover. "Your Honor, my client simply means she needs time to transition." "I understand. But I don't think it's fair to expect me to work," is a concerning statement. Temp custody result, 50-50, week on, week off. Marital home awarded to me for now since I was paying the mortgage and she'd left voluntarily. She got temporary spousal support, but only $2,200 a month, about half what she asked for. Child support calculated based on income differential and split custody, $850 a month. She was furious. Furious. After the hearing in the parking lot, her lawyer had stepped away. She confronted me. "You're trying to destroy me." "I'm not trying to destroy anyone. I'm trying to divorce fairly." "Fairly? You make $140,000 a year and I'm getting $3,000 total? How is that fair? You have no expenses right now. You're living with your mother rent-free, and the expectation is that you'll eventually support yourself. I gave up my career for this family, and I supported this family for 11 years without complaint. We both contributed. Now we're separating contributions. I can't believe I wasted my life on you." I had nothing to say to that. Just got in my car and drove home. The next few weeks, she amped up the manipulation. She started telling the kids things, not overtly alienating, she's smarter than that, but stuff like, "Daddy decided he didn't want to live with us anymore. And I know it's hard that Daddy chose this. Classic subtle poison. My 9-year-old came home one week and asked, "Dad, why did you want to leave us?" My heart broke. "Buddy, I didn't leave you. Mom and I are separating, but I will always be your dad. I love you exactly the same as before. The only thing changing is that you'll have 2 homes now. Mom said you wanted this. Mom and I both want what's best for you. Sometimes grown-ups can't live together anymore, but that doesn't mean either of us loves you any less." I documented the conversation. Told my lawyer, "Keep records. If it continues, we may need to address parental alienation." Then came the financial hearing for final asset division. Her lawyer presented an argument for 60-40 split in her favor because she sacrificed career advancement for the family, plus continued spousal support for 5 years at $3,500 a month. My lawyer presented documentation of our actual finances, house equity, approximately $180,000, retirement accounts, mostly mine, approximately $340,000, savings, post-freeze, approximately $22,000, vehicles, 2 cars worth about $45,000 combined, debt, minimal. Her proposed division, 50-50 house equity, she gets bought out or we sell. 50-50 retirement, standard in most states. 50-50 savings, each keeps own vehicle. Spousal support, 3 years, $2,000 month, decreasing each year. Child support continues at $850 month per 50-50 custody calculation. Her lawyer protested, "This doesn't account for my client's diminished earning capacity." Judge, different judge for this hearing, older man. "Your client has a degree and 9 years of experience managing a household. That's transferable. She's also receiving half of significant assets and support during transition. The law doesn't guarantee lifestyle maintenance post-divorce." My wife whispered something to her lawyer. Looked panicked. Her lawyer, "Your Honor, may we request a recess?" Granted. They huddled for 15 minutes. When they came back, her lawyer said, "My client will accept the proposed division if spousal support is set at $2,500 for 3 years without decrease." My lawyer looked at me. I thought about it. Counter, $2,200 for 3 years flat, same as temporary support. More huddling. Then, accepted. And just like that, it was basically over. Final divorce decree took another few weeks for paperwork, but the major battles were done. 50-50 custody. House sold and equity split. We agreed to sell rather than one buying the other out. Cleaner that way. Retirement split. Vehicles kept. Spousal support for 3 years. Child support ongoing. I didn't win in some dramatic sense. I lost half my retirement savings I'd been building for 20 years. I lost the house I'd paid the mortgage on for 8 years. I'm paying her $2,200 a month plus $850 for the kids. That's over $36,000 a year for 3 years, plus child support continuing after. But you know what I gained? Peace. Final update, 2 months after decree. All right, final update because people kept asking, and honestly, I think closure helps. The divorce was finalized 6 weeks ago. House sold fast. Market's good right now. We cleared about $175,000 in equity after fees, split down the middle. I used my portion as down payment on a smaller place closer to the kids' school. 3 bedrooms so they each have their own space when they're with me. The spousal support payments are annoying but manageable. I budget for them and don't think about it. 3 years and they stop. Child support is what it is. I'd pay money for my kids regardless of court order. My ex-wife's situation is interesting. She's still living with her mother. Hasn't looked for work despite the judge's comments. Her attorney fees ate up a chunk of her settlement, and apparently she burned through more redecorating her mother's guest room into a proper suite. My mother-in-law, ex-mother-in-law, called me about a month after the decree, wanted to clear the air. "You know she's struggling." "I'm aware." "Maybe you could help more, extra money here and there." "I'm paying exactly what the court ordered. If she's struggling, she should consider employment. Don't be cruel." "I'm not being cruel. I'm being exactly as generous as the law requires and not a penny more." She made her choices. "You'll regret this when the kids grow up and see what kind of father you are." "I'm a father who's present 50% of the time, pays support and shows up for everything. If that's not good enough, I don't know what to tell you. She hung up on me. The kids are adjusting. It's hard. I won't pretend it isn't. The first few weeks were rough. Questions, tears, confusion. But kids are resilient. They're getting used to the two-house situation. My ex and I communicate strictly through a co-parenting app now. No texts, no calls except emergencies. It keeps things civil. She tried once more to get me to reconsider. About 3 weeks ago, showed up at my new place during her week. Kids weren't with me. Can we talk? About what? Us. This whole thing. I've been thinking, we're divorced. I know, but people reconcile. It happens. I stood in my doorway. Didn't invite her in. Why would I reconcile? Because the kids need both parents under one roof. Because 11 years should mean something. Because... She started crying. Because I miss my life. You miss your life, not me. You miss the house, the lifestyle, not having to worry about money. That's not the same as missing me. That's not fair. It's honest. You spent 6 years telling me I wasn't good enough. I finally believed you. She didn't have a response to that, just stood there crying. I hope you find what you're looking for, I said. But it's not going to be with me. Not anymore. She left. Hasn't tried again since. Here's the thing about divorce that people don't tell you. It's not really about winning or losing. The legal stuff, the money, the custody arrangements, that's all just logistics. The real outcome is what kind of life you build after. I'm building one where I don't wake up anxious about what I've done wrong today, where I'm not constantly defending myself against accusations of inadequacy, where I can come home to a quiet house and not brace for criticism. Is it lonely sometimes? Yeah. Do I miss having a partner? Parts of it. But I'd rather be alone and at peace than married and constantly told I'm failing. My therapist asked me recently if I regret how I handled it. The papers ready in advance, the response to her ultimatum. I thought about it. No. She gave me an ultimatum demanding I become someone different. I just accepted the consequence she threatened. Do you think she expected that? No. I think she expected me to grovel and agree to her list. That's what I'd always done before. Apologize, promise to try harder, bend to keep the peace. When I didn't, she didn't know what to do. How does that make you feel? Honestly, like I finally stood up for myself. Like I finally said enough after years of being told I wasn't enough. The kids are okay. I make sure of that every day I have them. We cook together, watch movies, do homework, just exist without tension. When they go back to their moms, I tell them I love them and I'll see them soon. That's all any of us can do. My ex will be fine eventually. She's capable, despite what she tells herself. When the support runs out, she'll have to adapt. Maybe that'll be the push she needs. Maybe she'll find someone else to support her. Not my problem anymore. As for me, I'm doing better than I thought I would. Turns out when you stop trying to fill a cup with no bottom, you have a lot more to give to things that actually matter. To everyone in a similar situation, stuck in a marriage where you're never good enough no matter what you do, you deserve better. You don't have to accept someone else's definition of your worth. And sometimes the best thing you can do is accept the ultimatum they never thought you'd accept. She said she was giving me one last chance to be the husband she deserved. What she didn't realize was that she was giving herself one last chance to leave with dignity. She chose the hard way instead. That's on her. Not me. Not anymore.